Hello, a quick but important message. Very important. So please listen carefully, and there will be closed captions to it so that I make sure that you understand because of my accent. So my understanding after a lot of suffering is that you will suffer anyway, whether you stay or leave the path, because the sociopath, the narcissist, the psychopath, if you stay, it will get worse than if you leave. And here is why. So it is best to honor yourself no matter the cost, but you have better chances of recovering if you leave. Because if you stay, you don't even have yourself to hang on. You know, when you leave your narcissist, your sociopath or psychopath. By the way, psychopath is not, I repeat, not somebody, you know, what you see in the movies. Most psychopaths of today are very rich. They like to appear very well. They have a lot of, they present themselves very well. And they have, you know, they please to people. And so your psychopath is more like the suit and tie type, okay? Very important to understand that very few end up in jail in reality among those type of people. So I will restart over. So my understanding after a lot of suffering is that you will suffer anyway whether you leave or stay. So it is best for you to honor yourself no matter the cost, but you have better chances of recovering if you leave. Because if you stay, you don't even have yourself to hang on. Because at the end of a relationship, you tend to be isolated because your pet in question did isolate you, right? So the smear campaign is the price to pay. But I finally also understood that the smear campaign starts way before the end of the relationship. I know for certain that most smear campaigns starts way before the end of the relationship. So you have nothing to lose in the long run, except using your own self by staying, because they empty you more and more, financially, emotionally. Your health goes down, you know, your sanity, isn't, you are losing your balance. I'm not saying you're becoming crazy. I'm just saying that you're losing your balance the more you stay. Your mental balance the more you stay. Postscriptum, in no way, shape, or form I'm telling you what to do. I'm only sharing my hard learning experience curve, you know, the type of school of hard knocks that worked for me. Each person know their experience and themselves better. So the last thing I want is to tell you what to do. You're an adult, use your brain, use your rationality, sit on this, meditate on this. You know better what your circumstances are, but in well, it is a really it's a conundrum, you know, when you are with the path, you know. It's difficult to leave, it's difficult to stay, and it's like, but eventually, um, your soul cries out and you want to leave because of how you're going through. So thank you for listening, and you know, I'm not a marketer. I'm far from, I am very far from being a marketer. This is the last thing I am. So, but anyways, like, share whatever you want to do with it because I don't like repeating that. Take care, and thank you for listening. Greetings. Have heard over and over again from the wonderful narcissistic recovery community. I've heard something that is not quite right, so I want to make very sure you understand that I like most of what people are doing. I like most of what the survivors of narcissistic abuse are doing. Nevertheless, there is a mistake that I want to pinpoint to your attention. I've heard that narcissists are giving us a huge gift. This is to give too much importance to what the narcissist has done. Way too much. All they did is to give us BS. It is us who are transforming this experience as a gift, not them. So, no, because it is ringing, you know, I really don't like it because there's nothing good about what I personally receive. Let's start, for example, with the smear campaign. The narcissists are always playing the victim card, and the secrecy is the linchpin of abuse of power. It's enabling force. Transparency is the only antidote. Don't worry, I will break it down. Narcissists red flag. They are always right. Everyone else is always wrong. And usually people who don't like my accent are usually, well, they have at least narcissistic traits. So no worries about it, okay? Narcissistic abuse, how the narcissist use projection to destroy you. Their non-stop gossip gives them away. It is a quote. The corporate psychopath is a master at his craft and can manipulate people simply by knowing how to structure sentences. Quote, speaking of their gift, you know. Quote, many paths have come right out and made bold public declarations that say that they, quote, will not rest until you are locked up, put away, homeless, or dead, end of the quote, source psychopath victims and also my own experience. Let's continue. I was quoting Glenn Greenwald, secrecy is the linchpin of abuse of power. Its enabling force. Transparency is the only real antidote. How I came across this quote of Glenn Greenwald because I need to explain, because not everybody will understand his quote. How I did come across his quote is that I was saying, posting, secrecy is their cover and power. Secrecy from their victims as well as them acting covertly. Bring the fact to light, and those cockroaches either disappear or make a cruel character assassination of you before disappearing in the shadows in a feeble attempt to attack your credibility and name, of course. But those who have eyes to see, ears to hear, and heart to discover the truth are the only ones you need around, because the others are too damaged to see the truth. They cannot even help themselves. So I didn't know Glenn Greenwald before yesterday, because I did put in the search engine, secrecy is their cover and power. So this is how I came up with his quote, who says what I said in another wording. And let's continue. It says a quote, the narcissists begin their campaign even before the end of the relationship, should say relationship, to lay down the groundwork. The closer you are to the truth about who they are, the more vicious in their revenge they will be. The purpose is to terrorize the victim into silence. Why? He can't have the victim being so vocal about the abuse, because then he'll be discovered as an abuser. That would destroy his reputation and credibility. The narcissists want to torment you and force you to stay silent about what you endured. Why? Because they can't have you talk freely about your experiences. They don't want the abuse to come to light. Basically, we just tell our truths and live our lives the best way we know how, and someday we will be vindicated. What I said above to my reader is so true. When we go about our lives and live our truth, we create a realm that speaks volumes. The best way, in fact, the only way to combat that is to just keep on living your life the best way you know how. Live your truth. Share your experience. Be vocal. Don't let the narcissist scare you into silence. The source is freedom from narcissistic and emotional abuse. I will put the link in the video description. I want to make a little comment here, is that when you expose the truth, you never do it in reaction, but you do respond to your abuse. So be very sure that when you do, is that you use circumspection, so you don't do that while being spontaneous and while reacting because this is not going to work, this is going to hurt you even more than you already are. So you want to do that when you're calm and collected and that ready, that you feel at your best or enough at your best to respond to the abuse, not react. There is a big difference because reaction is being spontaneous, and the last thing the narcissist is being spontaneous. So if you're spontaneous while the narcissist is calm and collected, you're going to look like the bad guy. That's why. Psychopaths usually launch their psychic attacks following a very calculated formula. I will put the link in the video description. Quote, they want you to feel sorry to be alive. Quote, to be so overly anxious that you feel you're always 1 minute away from tragedy. End of the quote. Narcissists are extremely dangerous. I cannot overemphasize that enough. The narcissist never stops plotting. Laughed a lot 3 months ago said, they pick someone to slowly kill, take your soul and spirit away, make you their slave and treat him like God. Of course, there are women who are narcissists, but you're talking from your perspective, and if you hear well my voice, I'm not a man. But their top, could have been a woman, but not in my case. But their top priority is to make you go mad and for you to kill yourself. A lot of narcissists are satanic witches, so beware. They practice black magic, or in other words, black magic is, I know I'm reading a comment from somebody else, but black magic, it looks so much, they use hypnosis. They hypnotize you with their petit ploy. And how they are hypnotizing you. So GPS have put it in a better way for us to understand in our title, or I'll get it. How manipulative people use trance induction to lure you into their trap. So not only our title is very descriptive and very accurate, but it is a good video to listen to as well, but not the only one, by Soul GPS. So I just wanted to replace the word black magic because it sounded so, it was sounding off, because we need to talk in words that people understand. And trance induction is, or hypnosis or mind control is something that really grasp the situation. Could be that some of them are practicing black magic and just not in their living room, you know. Also, how to spot abuse in real time. This is me speaking. Extreme victimhood, between commas, and extreme grandiosity are their landmarks. We all go through difficult times. I think this is too loud. We all go through difficult times. But when somebody, this is my quote, but when somebody is so very confident and or so very much a poor little victim are huge red flags. You are so right. Pinpointing grandiosity and victimhood indeed. But I add to it because I had to it extreme victimhood and extreme grandiosity. Better to be safe than sorry. And we might make a few mistakes due to our CPTSD, but we have to protect ourselves first. Experience have taught us that the hard way. Postscriptum, we as narcissistic abuse victims have our own horror stories, and we are learning to be proud of ourselves more, which is healthy. And the reason why I say that is because you don't want to mistake an abuse victim for making a pity ploy or making looking could come across as grandiose. It's not that. It is that we have our own horror stories, and we are also learning to be proud of ourselves, which is healthy. So what differentiates us from our abuser is that our abuser is using extreme victimhood and extreme grandiosity. It is what is extreme that we have to pay attention to. When we think about it, they are extreme in every possible ways. Extreme for opening up, extreme for loving us by using love bombing, and that's while doing the love bombing phase that we are being hypnotized or trance induced. Everything is extreme with them. End of my quote. I will finally conclude by saying, please do not fall into the trap of thinking that narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths have a brain problem. It's not a brain problem. They are highly functioning. It's a heart issue. It's a heart problem. And of course, when they are showing us those scans, and make us think that it is a brain problem, we need to understand that, okay, I will continue the quote. This is not my quote, by the way. This is something else. Their heart has been purged of love, total empty. Any possible physical difference in the brain is an aftermath, such as from lack of use, being so evil and all atrophied. So in other words, what you see in those brain scans is not showing you that, oh, poor little narcissist, he does have a big brain problem. This is not that. Even though it does show that there is a difference between a healthy brain and atrophied brain, but in their case, the physical difference is because of the aftermath, because their heart has been purged of love and is empty. So this emptiness is of course being reflected in the scans being made of their brains, because everything connects in our bodies. The mental state, the physical state, the spiritual state. It is all interconnected. So of course, it is reflected in those brain scans. And I want to end up repeating, because it's very important. Don't give too much credit to the narcissist who did those very bad things to you. Give the credit all to yourself, because you're the one making a gift from what you receive from the narcissist. It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference indeed, and I want us to take what we rightfully deserve, which is that we're the one transforming this horror story into a gift. Thanks for listening.